Welcome everybody to Linux Academy. My name is Terry, and over this course we will be covering all things Linux, introduction to installation and setup. Okay, so now that we've installed Ubuntu, or we've installed Ubuntu along with Windows, depending on the order that you've viewed our previous videos, we need to do some updates. So one of the first things that you'll do when you boot up your system is you'll install updates. And we use a utility called apt-get. apt-get needs to be updated the first time that it's going to be used for that particular session. And what that does is it goes out and hits what are called repositories. And repositories are buckets that Debian packages, in the case of Ubuntu, are compiled and made available for the distribution that you're using. So in our case, we're using Ubuntu 13.04, which is referred to as Raring Ringtail, and we're going out to the repositories and we're going to update our cache of all the headers of all applications that are available. So now that we've completed this update, we can do an upgrade, which would install all of the patches that we need. So if we do a sudo apt-get upgrade, we'll see, now that we have a cache listing, that we need 142 megabytes of updates. 218 upgrades need to be done. We're not going to do that here simply for time reasons, but what we are going to do is we're going to install a very common repository that is not included by default with Ubuntu called MetaUbuntu. Now we could go to MetaUbuntu and download their PPA or repository listing along with the GPG key and install it all by hand, or we can go to MetaUbuntu's site and they've conveniently put in their Wikipedia entry this long command that we need to run that will do both for us. What this does is, in a directory called etc, there is in the apt directory a sources.list file. And we're going to go over directories and files, but what this gives us is it gives us all of these repository locations that we can download software from. So in this case, we're going to paste a command that will go and get all of those files that we need to update that sources list file with the MetaUbuntu repository. That's important because it has a lot of third-party applications and utilities that don't come with Ubuntu but that are fully supported. Keep in mind that a repository supports the files that it offers. So if you download something from MetaUbuntu that's only available on MetaUbuntu, subsequent updates will only come from MetaUbuntu and won't come from the Ubuntu repositories themselves. So we're finishing our update here. And once this is complete, we will show that we've added the MetaUbuntu repository to our sources file. And if we scroll back through here on the list during our update, we'll see that our MetaUbuntu repository has been added. Now what that gives us, like I said, is a number of third-party utilities and applications that are now available to us that aren't otherwise. And MetaUbuntu is probably the largest single source third-party repository for updated Ubuntu applications. Now a lot of times you'll install Chrome or other applications that'll have their own repository that you have to install manually. But in this case, we're installing a large repository that often has much more updated applications and utilities than are offered by Ubuntu by default. So now that we've done that, we've done an update and we've installed MetaUbuntu, we can do a sudo apt-get upgrade, and that way we will be pulling all of the latest packages that we need to update from the more bleeding edge repository. So That's what we're talking about when we're talking about repositories or adding third-party utilities from a third-party repository like Metabuntu. My name is Terry for Linux Academy, brought to you by Pinehead TV.